Yeah.
Good morning. Would everyone please stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Having said the pledge, it's always important that we do that and we put that to our heart. But it's also, as a parent, sometimes even it's an old parent, it becomes more meaningful sometimes. As I told you back last December, when my oldest son was activated again, and so he's back home now. He's in Fort McCoy, and we will meet him in Parkersburg tomorrow. So this means a little more. And with that, I think it's it just, if you look at all the problems that, and sometimes we don't want to look at problems, all the problems in the Mideast and all that, it just seems that even more and more, all of us should be more thankful for what we have here on a daily basis that we don't even appreciate sometimes. I think we all do, but we take it for granted. And that's the part we can't ever stop doing, is taking our privileges for granted. But I appreciate the opportunity to be here and living in Lincoln County and having family that gives me support, but family that cares about our country, that's willing to do those things that's necessary. So, thank you.
This session of the Lincoln County Commission on February the 17th, 2011 at 10 a.m. is now called to order. Members present is Donald C. Whitten, Clerk, Charles McCann, President, Charles Vance, Commissioner, Thomas Ramey, Jr., Commissioner. First thing on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on February the 3rd, 2011 at 6 p.m.
So moved. Second. Good motion, second. Being all yes vote, motion carries.
Next thing on the agenda, we have Michelle Sizemore here to introduce us to a gentleman I think we all may know, but we're thankful that he's taken a new position.
And I stand a certain place.
That'd be fine there. We had a joint meeting, the first I'd ever attended. We have always, as President of the County Commission, had the opportunity to be on the Extension Committee, which is made up of people in Lincoln County. But we have now moved to where we had a meeting this past week of the Boone County, Lincoln County Extension Committee, whereby we had the pleasure of employing one of our own for a job that's new and being part of working in Lincoln County and Boone County, doing some service work that Michelle, I'm sure, will tell us about. But I'm sure that all of us join in welcoming David because he has got something to offer and provide for both counties. Boone County is just fortunate to get part of them, right?
Yeah.
Since you're on the commission, or the extension, would you go down there and take a picture of welcoming?
We might do that.
This is Dave Roberts, and Dave will be working, like he said, part-time in Lincoln and part-time in Boone County. And we're very excited to have him to be one of our employees. And Dave's going to do a wonderful job for us. And I'll let him tell you, I'm not a big talker, so I'll let him tell you about a little bit of the programs that he's going to deliver to Lincoln. And I'm sure he's going to be introducing some more programs later on as he gets familiar with them. And he'll also be doing Boone County too.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank everybody for giving me an opportunity just to speak for a moment. March 7th, I will be starting as the Health and Families Extension Agent for Lincoln and Boone County. And it's going to be a new position in Lincoln, and I believe they have had the position before in Boone several years ago, but they lost that position recently and was glad to get it back. One of the primary probably classes, it's a lot of teaching within the community, is that they're really interested in is a Dining with Diabetes. And I know that's kind of came to the forefront recently with the health initiative, the Lincoln County Health Initiative. I believe I was talking to Dr. Smith, who said one of the things came up was to have a diabetes outreach and education program. So I was really excited that this is going to be something that we'll be able to hit the ground running. Actually, March the 7th, I actually start and will be in training to get certified to offer that class. They also have some different ones working with child care development centers or preschools and Head Start workers, healthy families, working on just creating healthier lifestyles in both counties. And a multitude of other services. The more I look, they really have a lot that we can offer. So, you know, if there's anything that you may be interested in, you know, please let me know, and we'll see if we can bring it to Lincoln County. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I will give you an official welcome, since I didn't get to do that tonight. I did welcome you, not since we are. We certainly appreciate it. You know you're doing your job.
Thank you.
And there's about, what, 7 or 8 people applied for the work, job?
Well, there was 9 applied, yeah. It was actually kind of a nationwide search, so I was quite honored.
Probably out here going.
Yeah, Dave, I would just like to say thank you on behalf of not only the work you've done in the position at the board office during the day, but the dedication and going above and beyond the call of duty to work with the attendance summit. I know you and Rick and others have, I don't think the newspaper people realize the impact you've already had on the children of Lincoln County. I was able to be a part of the conference call yesterday. I don't know if you want to share with us some of the results from the attendance summit, but to me it's spectacular, the numbers from last year to this year when it comes to the number of days missed from school.
We can. I mean, and that is something I've really been proud of this year. The schools have really worked hard. Attendance has been a big issue in Lincoln County. And from last year to this year, we've made progress each year, but this year we've really taken a good stab at it. At the high school, I know, and we was looking at students that had 10 or more unexcused absences. And the first semester last year, and looking at the first semester this year, there was 1,500 fewer absences, which will do nothing but just help the performance of our students. An even larger number at the other category was kindergarten through 8th grade. And, you know, it was like almost 3,000 days there. The students total was in school more. And again, you know, especially starting young, if we're able to instill that need, the importance of education, that routine and habit, it's just not going to do nothing but help our county and the communities. But again, we've had a lot of people really working, you know, all the counselors in the schools, Rick, the coalition, we've really had a lot of support at the courthouse, and we've really appreciated all the support we have received. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'd like to compliment whoever chose him, because I think you know, you're ahead of the curve when you're from the area you're trying to teach, and you've already been doing that. And I think you have already built relationships that you'll have to have with these families to be able to get the point across and have them take your lead in what you're trying to do and things. But I think whoever picked you did a really good job, and I'm proud for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Next thing on the agenda is the Lincoln County Parks and Recreation. Evelyn Cartwright, and I think Helen Ruby and Mark Stowers is here.
And Tracy. he's on
And
that
Tracy Dempsey.
It's better to follow along with me than to try to listen to me. My brain goes ahead of my mouth all the time. It's not built if you don't
Must be
understand something.
something there it does. I kind of have that problem too.
I'll be thinking of something and going ahead and talking about something else. So just slow me down. I would like to say good morning to everybody. And the ones that don't know me, I'm Evelyn Cartwright, and I'm the treasurer for the Lincoln County Parks and Recreation. We have the secretary, I don't know what Barbie is. Tracy. And
She's the chief.
Rick, she keeps us lined out, and Rick is outside, so I'm just speaking as a whole. This is not nothing that I've done by myself. This is for the whole board. We have a wonderful board on the parks. And I'm just gonna, I don't know where you want me to read all this, but we have the projects that we have completed in 2009. You want me to read
I
them?
think it'd be good for the public's knowledge.
We try to work all over the county, but you know, the person in that community has to do their own work. We can't go from our area that we're trying to cover over into somebody else's. But this is how we kind of operate, and it's working out wonderful. In 2009, we installed a septic at Ranger concession and bathroom, and it was funded by the Lincoln County Parks and Recreation, and there was a lot of volunteer work with heavy equipment done by Tim Davis, and Blackie had his hands on this, everything I mentioned, he's had his hands on, so.
That being your husband.
Oh, yes. And then the Ranger concession, we started out to be a small building, and we got a little bit of money and a little bit more come rolling in, so you know, we pretty much got a nice little facility there. But we have the Ranger concession and bathrooms, and that was grants from the Governor's Community Partnership, RC&D, Lincoln County Parks, Lincoln County Commission, and fundraisers and donations, and that was all volunteer labor. Griffithsville Concession Building, we got a $10,000 grant for them for Lincoln County Foundation, Governor's Community Partnership, Lincoln County Parks, and the Lincoln County Commission. And I don't know how much volunteer they had, but they paid for a lot of their labor. You'd have to ask someone over there what they done, you know. We purchased and installed a batting cage for Lincoln County High School, funding by the Lincoln County Parks. It was all volunteer, putting it together and getting it put up. Purchased and installed 6 benches for West Hamlin Playground, funded by Lincoln County Parks and Recreation. That was all volunteer labor. They had a pretty nice playground there at Pleasant View when they shut down that school. Thanks to Tim Davis and Blackie, he used his heavy equipment and come down and dug it up, and we moved it up to Ranger site, and we installed it on the Ranger playground up there, and we put impact under it. It was all volunteer. We installed underground water lines, electric, and conduits to the Ranger concession bathroom, 900 foot of water, 500 foot electric, and that grant was gave to us through the RC&D, Lincoln County Parks, and all the labor, and I don't remember the guy's name with the ditch witch, but he donated all his time and dug the ditches, and we had volunteers cover it. We had installed kitchen cabinets at Ranger Concession. Ronnie Baker, he built, paid, and installed all the cabinets for that, done a good job. And in kind, I would guess it'd be 5 to 7, probably a lot more. I don't know, it's just an off the wall guess on my part. We installed a walking track at Garrett's Bend. Grant was Governor's Community Partnership. That's all volunteer labor. Purchased and installed safety caps on the ball field at Garrett's Bend, funded by Lincoln County Parks, all volunteer labor. And we did participate in the Bluegrass and Gospel Sing and the Heart Summer Program. We don't have a lot of physical work with that, but, you know, as far as the check writing and the, you know, just keeping up with them, we do. That was 2009. Has anybody got any questions? Okay, 2010. We purchased and installed a scoreboard for Guyan Valley Middle School baseball field, and that was funded by the Lincoln County Parks, all volunteer labor. Purchased a new tent and trailer for the Lincoln County Parks and Recreation, funded by the Lincoln County Parks and Lincoln County Commission. purchased two spring rides at West Hamlin Elementary through the Governor's Community Partnership Grant, all volunteer labor. Road and field improvements. We installed 3 20-foot by 5-foot drain pipes, built the road, leveled the field, and up to the Guyan River campsite area. All the dozer, backhoe, labor, everything was donated. I think Tim Davis paid an operator and loaned all his equipment, and they stayed up there a little bit over a week working and leveling that out. And in-kind was probably $9,000 or more after I added up the hours. But we had such a problem up there with parking and two sports trying to work it out with each other that we think this will solve our problems. So we think we've got that solved, I pray.
I think you're, that's a big problem.
Okay, and the Guyan River campsites, we installed tables, grills, fire rings, benches, fabric and mulch. We still have a pile of mulch that they donated and piled up there, but the weather's not give us a chance to get it fixed. And that was through all volunteer labor, and that was a grant through the Lincoln County Foundation. Graveled road to the river campsite and parking lot. This was $6,000 funded by the Lincoln County Commission, and we got a nice place to get up to it, and a road to it now. Before we didn't have a road to it. We purchased and installed exercise equipment at Garrett's Bend Community Center. That was Governor's Community Partnership Grant matched by the Garrett's Bend Community Center, not Parks, Garrett's Bend. All volunteer labor. Purchased and installed exercise equipment at Harts Community Center, a Governor's Community Partnership Grant. That's so hard for me to say that. It's all volunteer labor. Tracy was in on that one. Purchased and installed safety caps at the Lincoln County Boys Baseball Field, Governor's Community Partnership Grant. All volunteer labor. Purchased and installed 2 grills at the Garrett's Bend Community Center, funded by Lincoln County Parks. Installed a basketball court at Garrett's Bend Community Center. That's a Governor's Community Partnership Grant. Garrett's Bend matched the grant with monies and in-kind. Lincoln County Parks also participated in the Bluegrass and Gospel at Mud River, Heart Summer Program, the Autism Awareness Walk, and the Haunted Trail, raising money. Okay, has anybody got any questions on that one?
I'm getting tired.
I am. Well, that's what I get for not being over here every year. Yeah.
That just means
I'm
you're
sorry.
working a lot.
The active projects that we have going on now, this come down through the RC&D, the Lincoln County Quilt Trails, and it has took off with leaps and bounds. We're getting applications, and this was funded by the RC&D, Lincoln County Commission, and Lincoln County Parks. We've installed 2 quilt squares, one at the Ranger Park, and the quilt square is called Ranger's Pride. And the second one was installed on Route 34 on Ron and Helen Jones' property. It's called the Piney. And we have had all volunteer labor, and our goal this year is to install 6 to 10 quilt squares, and we're working on them now. And they will be we're hopefully to get the barns throughout the county, and but it has to be in form of a quilt square. It can't be just a logo, or it has to do with the quilt square. Okay, and
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Just for the sake of maybe people here that might be somebody that doesn't know about the quilt squares, could you just give them more information about that?
It is to have people come through the county. I'm not good at explaining things, It's to bring in tourism and encourage people to open up small businesses, and just promote Lincoln County, in other words. But I think we have enough people interested in it. I think it's going to go on.
It's like a interstate place, other states be involved.
It comes out of Cincinnati, comes through Mason, It comes up through Putman, and it come across 34, and then Wayne County's connecting on next. Cabell County's biting at the bits to get it, but they'll have, we just have to wait till we get it comes through, it's promoted through the RCND, and we can only take on one a year, so I've waited 3 years for this one, so it's our turn. So now it'll be somebody else.
And for somebody that wants, in Lincoln County wants to talk about it, they need to call maybe you.
Yes, they could call me, I could fix them right up, send them my application. No,
I'm sorry, I just wanted
the more the better, because we want to make Lincoln County shine. This is what we're all about. The next thing, we applied for a building, money through the governor's partnership for a building and stage area at Ranger. And the reason we applied for that is they can have fundraisers, things with it to help with the added expense up there, because we have electric and water now there, and we need some way of, that we've applied, so we're waiting for that. So it's not really active, but we're still waiting. Future project is, this is the 4th year we have tried for the Guyan River Trail, and from what I see, it's a jumping leaps and bounds right now. And I think Craig had a lot to do with that, of putting a lot of stuff together. And our first meeting is the 22nd at Guyan Valley, and Jackie will have a PowerPoint presentation and explain exactly what it is. And the last 3 years we have applied for it. They never once told us we had to get it designated as a scenic byway. This year, Elk River went through, they've got to the bottom of it and found out, and we're really copying Elk River. And this way it makes it a lot easier for us to know what we are to do now. So it's going. The other 4 counties has to have their meetings before she can send it in.
Yeah, what time is that? You said that meeting?
6:30 at Guyan Valley, middle school. I keep saying high school, but middle. And she will take comments, questions, and answers, things that I don't know about. And Craig might know, but I don't know about, how to answer people with this. So we've got this is farther than we ever got. So I'm hoping it goes all the way. You can see where we have helped made donations to some of the people that has come and asked us for donations. Hamlin Little League, Coal River Water Trail, Lincoln County 4-H, Guyan Valley Baseball Sign, Special Olympics, Daniel Aggins, and we did help the Little All-Star, 250, I think, go to the state. And I didn't put that on here, I forgot it. And I think I've already said where we got our funding from. It's on the bottom of here.
Have you done any paving anywhere?
Paving?
Like a road? I was thinking you did something at Garrett's Bend.
We just got the money
We
allocated
just
for fall.
started.
We haven't even been able to get the bids yet because
But you do have some funds.
Yeah.
the paving companies don't do a whole lot in winters.
Yeah,
We haven't went.
getting about that time probably.
But that's coming up. Okay, and the next one is just an overall budget. Some of our budget, it's basically, we're doing fine on the budget that we have. Some of our, like the West Virginia Board of Insurance, for instance, we have filled out the papers every year till we have got it dropped down. So, and then most of it, then like we have extra bills at Ranger and it'll compensate each other. So basically our budget is working. On the next page, it's just like a readout that I gave our board members Monday night. It's just the last 3 months. It'll give you a general idea of some months we have a lot more money going out than our monthly income, and then some months we don't. And on the back page, it shows a balance of $29,159.03 in our account. But if you go down here, I just wrote it out in handwriting. We have $14,494.71 in grant projects that we cannot spend out of that. So it comes off of that. And then we've set aside the 17 for our taxes and audit. We do have that just to keep ourselves clear. And the balance shows $12,794.91. And when this year's budget, we have $10,000 exercise equipment at Harts and $4,000 for Garrett's Bend driveway that we have to have money up front to draw it down, so that will take care of it. On our endowment, we have not added nothing to our endowment over the last couple years because it's been so down. But we have put money in the CDs at Community Trust. On our franchise money, when we draw it down, we make a decision, and that's where that comes from. So, but the endowment, we have not added to it, but I talked to Larry, he said it should be back up to 70,000 what we started with, you know, and I think it should be too, so that's about all we have.
I think it's a good job. Let's give them all a hand. Can you imagine Lincoln County without Parks and Rec?
I can't imagine Lincoln County without Blackie and Avalon.
Well, I know one thing, this system we have now with you guys works much better than what we had before. I mean, the people get a much greater return on what they invest in these projects. And I think you all, plus those volunteers you had, really show tremendous community spirit. I mean, that's what's I don't know about how it is Garrett's Bend, but I know at Ranger, they're very proud. They're very proud of what they have at Vernon. And that's, as you said before, you want to have people proud of Lincoln County, and I think you guys are one of the main forces for that. So I really appreciate what you've done.
Garrett's Bend was our original. They're the ones that got this thing started.
Yeah.
And the
We
school
need
closed over there.
we need her expertise at McCorville.
We're not giving her up. We're gonna keep her.
Hey, I don't do it by myself, I have wonderful board members, does it in
That's
their own.
the truth, y'all do a real good job.
I think
Sure.
that we should, as a commission, send a letter to each of the board members of the Parks and Rec, commending them for their work and their dedication to Lincoln County, as well as Tim Davis, who currently has done a lot of
Yes, he
volunteer
has.
work. So
I'll give you a motion for that.
I'll second it.
we'll do that. And we welcome you back next year.
Next,
Oh, being all yes vote, motion carries.
next thing on the agenda is Rick McDowell.
I'd like to have a sergeant alarm.
Welcome, Rick.
Thank you. Do you want me to talk any more about the
I don't think so.
Sunday Summit? Okay.
Something that we can talk about.
Well,
I was gonna say that, but I didn't.
yeah, I've got some things. Sir? You're welcome. I'll just talk about wastewater now. The little color thing on the front there, I don't know whether you caught on the news, there's a caucus, a legislative caucus, it's called Generation Legislature Caucus. It's for the 40 and younger, or 45 and younger, it's the younger people in the state legislature. And Josh Stowers is on that. And it's a nonpartisan group, and they meet and talk about upcoming critical issues for the state. So I talked to Josh about the idea of sort of getting on their radar the kind of lessons we're learning about wastewater. So I think what we're going to be doing is providing Josh with enough of these for everybody in that caucus. And the hope is that it'll lead to some kind of a discussion with them about, not just about the things that we've done, but about sort of long-term, how are we going to deal with rural wastewater issues and involving the community. So I think it'll be good for Lincoln County, but hopefully it'll have a broader kind of impact. There's an update there. You see that we were real busy moving through the bid process, and Craig will talk about that a little later. The things that we've got coming up in the next 2 months, which are gonna be critical, one, we're gonna close out the phase 2, which is the ARRA stimulus thing. My hope is that that's gonna be closed out in March. There's still a couple things we're waiting on, but that should be finished in March. Early in March, we're hoping to have the permits finished for phase 3. We have to get, since each one of these homes in phase 3 is direct discharge, we've got to get a permit approved by the DHHR and the DEP in order to do this direct discharge. The DEP won't release the money for phase 3 until the permitting is done. So that's a real critical thing that we've got coming up. We also have to finalize the budget. We're pretty close to that, and then we'll have some documents that have got to be signed. The commission's already approved for Commissioner McCann to do that. And then we'll hopefully get some money, and we can start. I may come to the commission asking for some help. I'm anticipating with phase 3 that we might have some cash flow problem. And so one idea is maybe to get a loan, $30,000, $40,000 maybe for a year from the commission, so that we spend and then we get reimbursed. So there's some times that that's really, really tight and we really don't have any money, so we've got to stop doing stuff. So maybe the next meeting
You'll come back.
I'll bring something to you.
Is that kind of like, did we do that before? We just gave you money for the grants before? It was kind of like that before.
It was kind of like that before, except we repaid you quicker. There is a budget breakdown that says ARRA Phase 2. Okay, this is going to be, this is it. This will zero out all that money, and if you look at the column that says this request, column C, that's what we have yet to ask for. And the big thing on there is the permit and fees. What the DEP has said we can do is we can charge Phase 3 permits to this ARRA in order to draw down the entire amount.
So you pretty much zero out.
So it's gonna, we'll zero out completely. The budget was just over $718,000, and we're gonna spend every single dollar of it. So that will zero out completely, so that'll be good. The next thing you've got is tributary sampling. We did a tributary sampling on the 9th of February. It's in the far right-hand column. What we're hoping for, and this is tributaries, it's not the direct discharge, so we get samples out of the creek. What we're hoping for is less than 200 colonies per 100 milliliters, 200 E. coli colonies. And if you look, it's pretty good. I think as I'm learning more and more about this stuff, the fact that it's a cold month, it was snowy, there was snow on, we had some heavy rain several days prior to it. If you compare it with March 2010, we had pretty good readings then. Most of the readings we had there were pretty good. I think the creeks are getting cleaned up, but I think also the fact that it was done during a cold time impacts it too. But we're seeing some positive kinds of things. If you look at the bottom, where we've got that 500 colonies and 5,500 colonies, one's at the mouth of Dogbone. We've got lots and lots of homes on Dogbone. But we're installing a lot of systems there. So I'm hopeful that you're going to see a change in that number, that's going to be one of our good things.
That still gives us, if you get it out of straight, you still have the contamination from the animals and stuff.
Right, it's still good. So it's never going to be perfect. There's 3 pages that are stapled together. One of the things we had to do on Phase 2, because it was federal stimulus money, we were required to follow the Buy America provision, and that meant that except for what they call a 5% de minimis waiver, which was 5% of the project, we had to have 95% of the stuff bought in the United States. So this is a breakdown of all the purchases that were made that installed the thing, and you'll see that just over 98% of the purchases were made in the United States, and just under 2% were made outside the United States. So we were well within what we were supposed to be doing. So that's really good. And then the last thing you've got are the notes from the bid opening. Do you want to go through that, Craig? And we've got with us today Joe Wiseman and William McVeigh, who are from Wiseman Excavating, who are going to be doing our work.
Welcome, Craig.
Thank you, President. Things went rather smoothly yesterday. We had 11 in attendance. Of the 4 firms that showed interest, 2 submitted bids. That was T.R. Davis, Tim Davis, and Wiseman Excavating Inc., Joe Wiseman, who is represented here today. Things went smoothly. They both submitted on time. Rick, it was a 2-envelope process, so since they were submitted on time, Rick went ahead and opened the first envelope. Both firms had everything in order, so we proceeded to the second envelope. And Wiseman, with a bid of $537,000, had the low bid, and we felt, the bid committee felt that he had met all the recommendations and satisfied everything. So there was a motion made by Kenneth Bailey and a second from Kevin Farrell, and it passed unanimously from the bid committee to bring the recommendation to the commission that we accept Wiseman's bid of $537,000.
Seems like you got everything in order. Any other discussions on that?
Well, we can award it underneath Rick's skin.
Okay, hearing a report from Craig on this bid, I think we should just go ahead and award that bid at this time. Motion to award the bid of $537,000 to Wiseman Excavating Incorporated.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and second, be all yes, motion carries. Rick, anything from you?
We're looking forward to getting started on that.
Okay, guys, appreciate you bidding on it.
Thank you.
Where's your business at?
Putnam County.
Okay, you're not that far away.
Okay, Greg, you're on the agenda next. You want to go ahead on your reports?
First, just to give you some updates about some grants that are in the pipeline. The hazard mitigation that we had a couple weeks ago, we had a public hearing on that. We're still receiving applications for that process. I said during that meeting that we would accept the applications up to the end of February. I'd like to go ahead and extend that into March since we've had some interest past the date that I said that we would stop getting that, but I would like to extend it into the middle of March to receive on that. Everyone touched on the Trailways grant that we're doing. Just to remind us, on the 22nd at 6:30 at Guy Valley Middle School. We did get a resolution from the Board of Education in support of designating Guy and Dock River as a scenic waterway. What you all have is a letter that I would like to take to some legislatures and do the governor's participation grant. We submitted a grant to the West Virginia Courthouse Facilities Improvement Authority, and unfortunately we were denied on that grant because of there was 41 applicants, and by the time they got to Lincoln County they'd run out of money. And so to kind of remedy that, since the courthouse does need some work done, we thought that we would ask the governor and do his participation grant and legislatures to help us remedy that problem. I would ask the commission to approve the letter and allow me to take it to the legislatures. Also, for time's sake, I'm not sure if they will give me applications to formally go ahead and do that. I would ask that you would grant President McCann the authority to sign the applications up to $104,630.
Okay, you heard the request, motion.
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I'll second. I got a question. Does this not have to be bid out?
It will be, it
This
will
is just
be-
kind of like
this is
give an
just-
idea of what,
It is,
okay.
yeah, it's just, to support where we got the number.
And before I call for a vote on what we're discussing, the sample letter you have here is for Congressman Ray Hall.
It's an example.
Yeah. Because I'd be sure in the letter to the governor, I would ask out of his contingency money that he could fund the whole amount. So I would put his letter maybe just a little bit different. I'm sure it would probably help you get to that point. He has more power with money than the legislative people do, other than Ray Hall probably. But Ray Hall being a minority now, he may not have to. Anyway, but call for a vote. All yes, motion carries.
And just so the commission's aware, we have meetings in Charleston, we thought, well, tomorrow, and we're gonna hand deliver this letter tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda is Hearts Veterans and Community Center and the McCorkle Community Center. I think Sheriff Bowman wants to give an update on his office being in the Hearts Veterans and Community Center. And then if Doris wants to give one on the McCorkle Community Center.
Okay, as everyone knows, we had County Government Day in Parks Community Center once a month until the first of the year. And then we went, yeah, okay. Make sure you got the right one. And the first year we went to once a week. And I just want to give you an update on what's going on and how it's increasing. On January, it's also my office, Don Whitten's office, and Tracy's office, which we're all there once a week now. One employee out of each office. On January the 5th, 2011, the tax amount was $642.76. The decals part for that day was $216, which was the license. On the 12th, which was a week later, we had a slow week. I think the weather was bad. We had like $11.48. And then the decals were $62. On the 19th, it was $412.35. Decals was $93. On the 26th, it was $1,770.24. Decals was $434. February the 2nd, $1,098.17 to $155 on decals. On the 9th, it was $1,773.83. Decals was $449. On the 16th, February 16th, it was $1,744.43. Decals was $217. Total for February was $4,416.43, and on the decals, $821. Go back if I can give the total amount for January. The total amount in January was $2,836.83 and $805 on the decals. Also, on the concealed weapons, in January the 19th was $93. The total for that month was $93, and then the 2nd of February, we collected $189 on concealed weapons.
So we could say the people up there are really using this. Huh?
Yes, they are. It seems to be increasing each week, and I think as the weather gets better, I think we're going to see a better improvement.
And also, Sheriff, their February, we didn't have an ad in there telling everybody we were there until like the 1st of February, so. I think
Once they caught on, every weekend, it's a good deal.
I think this is an example of how government needs to be responsive and make sure that we're accessible to the public. And it's my desire to see this extended to the Allen Creek and Garrett's Bend area eventually, so that people in that area have more accessibility to pay their taxes and take care of things.
I agree.
I'd like to know Doris Ken works in my office where she's collecting birth certificates and collecting the rent for the commission.
Yeah, that's a big help for us.
Also, too, with the assessor's office there, they would have to be assessed before, through Tracy's office, which he has his girls up there before we could even collect these. So it's a big process with all three offices there.
And with Armstrong's new internet service, it seems to be working much better.
Much better.
And cheaper too, because we're having it satellite, now we do not. Okay, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Doris, you want to give an update on the McCorkle?
Yeah, I apologize for not having any minutes. I've got a new printer and I'm having a problem with it, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get me a baseball bat and give it a nap.
That'll
I've
work.
been struggling with it for 2 weeks and he has, and you know, but anyway. The McCorkle Center is slow to start. We have not gotten any funding on anything. From what I understand, the emails I got this week, the grants are supposed to be in by tomorrow, and we're running out of time. We just didn't have enough time to get everything together to get all the equipment and all the improvements they want out there. We are having a hot dog bake sale flea market Saturday from 8 to 2. And the tables are $5 a piece if anybody wants to come out and run any. This is the first activity type thing that we're, having for the general public this Saturday. We hope to get some things going there, but it's just a struggle to try to get all the paperwork together. That's why I said we need this lady over there to help us with some paperwork, for grants and different things like that. So, but we got some high hopes of getting things done. And also, a week ago, we met with that Sharon Salmons and got the differences worked out, and so she's going to be in charge of all of the volunteers. And her and Leanne are working together, and they're going to, get everything really organized in there. So, and getting the place cleaned up, so it's starting to look pretty good. It's just going to take a while, you have to crawl before you walk, so it's going to take a while to get things going to where we can really see some big improvements over there.
Well, it's gonna take some time. You had one group there operated completely, had the whole building. Now we got actually 3 different groups.
Right.
We got you guys running the place sort, and then we got Crime Watch, and then we got the closing thing, so.
Well, we had a meeting with the Crime Watch, and we all set our parameters. And so, like I say, all this takes time. I mean, less than 2 months we've been at this, just since the last of December we've been at this. So up to this point, it's been just trying to figure out which route we go down to get whatever accomplished we want to accomplish.
Well, and certainly, we appreciate just the involvement of that many people doing different things. And it certainly, as Evelyn has experienced, these other ladies, there's growing pains when you start trying to get people together and get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, I'm hoping one of these days we can have a financial report, But, this is our first thing that we're going to have, but we're going to be collecting any money. So, like I say, and I think it was advertised in the paper, and I think Scott contacted a radio station in Danville, according to the email, but we're trying to get the word out there. And like I say, it's a struggle to get things going when you got so much stuff to do and very little to work with. And like I say, this grant's supposed to be in tomorrow. And I think basically we just, running out of time trying to get that done. Hopefully when the next grant date comes up, we'll be able to apply for grant money and get some money in there to do things with.
We appreciate the work.
Okay, the next thing we have is for the McCorkle Community Center, bid opening for the roof. We received 2 bids. One was emailed in, or faxed in, and one was brought in.
And again, this is money from the government partnership.
Right.
Is the basis for the most of the money, and $12,000.
The first one is from TMT Construction, Matt Thompson, and the total bid amount is $12,000. And according to Mr. McCann, because that's what I told them both, we wanted to, it's over the gym area, the roof is leaking really bad, and we wanted it built up and anchored down with the wood and everything, and then asphalt shingles. According to this, that's what he has at $12,000. There he's got a diagram and everything. The next one is for Lincoln Buildings and Wood Creations. 30-year shingle roof, that's what he's got, a raised 2-foot raised front. And his total estimate is $27,975. The estimate includes tearing out old materials and disposing of all of the old materials, building a knee wall every 10 foot and raising the front 2 foot. Then he also put in here an additional one for a 40-year enamel metal roof and not raising the front 2 foot. And that total estimate for materials and labor is $10,322.
Probably, my thought is that need to look, I think we need to wait, if we could, to the next meeting, let me go back and look and see how we advertised it.
Make sure you want to change the bid specs.
Yeah, so if we could, just maybe a motion to table awarding that bid until we can review it and have it ready to the next meeting. It needs to be done.
I'll motion that.
Second.
Being all yes vote, motion carries to table it till the next meeting.
Okay, next thing on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the bills as submitted for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, being all yes vote, motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the appointments, bills, and settlements as submitted by Donald C. Wooden, clerk.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, being all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to amend the agreement with Steve McComas to increase his employment to 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, for a total of 20 hours per week.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, being all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to reappoint Evelyn Cartwright to the Great Canal Resource Conservation and Development Council as representative of the Lincoln County Commission.
Second.
Motion second, and they got a note here that says that's lifetime appointment.
And
Being all
Commissioners,
yes, motion carries.
while we're talking about the Great Canal RC&D, a couple of years ago, we had decided that we were going to give money to their endowment fund for Representative Lincoln County, and since we've got the Greater Canal RC&D, could we go ahead and include that to give them the donation that we had approved 2 years ago?
And Evan mentioned this before the meeting started, but initially we gave $5,000. And then our agreement was supposed to be,
Everything started looking rocky, and we did 25 the next year. And
and,
last year we didn't, but I didn't mention it last year because I didn't know
yeah,
how everything was going.
so really we owe $5,000 if we're gonna stick to our agreement now, or do we owe
To
75?
catch up at 75.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
But I need to say another thing I forgot. Yesterday, we done the grants, and we did get $2,000 more for some picnic tables for the preschool under the picnic shelter we've been building over at West Hamlin. So we did get another $2,000. So the money is coming back way more than what we give them.
Okay. Okay, the motion that I would ask the commissioners to consider would be to bring us up to date with a $7,500 amount.
I'll offer that motion.
I'll second.
Motion second, all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to appoint Jerry Bowman, Sheriff Administrator of the estate of Geraldine White.
Second.
Motion second, all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the Governor's Community Participation Contract by and between the Lincoln County Commission and the West Virginia Development Office for the Open Arms Outreach Youth Center and Children's Outreach Program, and give Charles McCann, President, authorization to sign the stated contracts.
This is another one of those groups doing really good outreach for you, for the youth of the county. I'll move.
Second.
The motion and second, all yes,
Is that
Yes.
an application or
Motion
an
carries.
award?
That is award, that is an actual contract,
How much?
25.
$25,000.
Okay.
I need a motion to approve the appointment, study and vacation, Lincoln County Commission by Donald C. Wooden, clerk, as follows. Elwanda Lou Clark as executor to the estate of Bobby Roger Clark. Bessie Farley as administrator to the estate of Lyburn Lee Farley Sr. Betty Bice as executor to the estate of Ethel May Sloan Thompson. Linda Swan as administrator to the estate of Beulah May Weishome Woodall. Charmaine Fonduck as administrator to the estate of Clifford Vernon Markham. Judith K. Williams as administrator to the estate of Danny Joe Williams. Rodney Brooks as executor of the estate of Maxine H. Brooks Pritchard. Doris J. Triplett as executor to the estate of Hans Allen Triplett.
Second.
Motion and second. Be all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the out-of-county travel for home incarceration officer Chad Chandler to attend a training on applying effective interview interrogation techniques in Indiana on March the 7th through the 10th, 2011.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. That being all yes vote, motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the budget revisions for the general county fund to be submitted to the state auditor's office for approval.
So moved.
I'll second that. Do we have a copy of that?
Yes, sir, you do in your file.
All right, thank you.
Motion and second, all yes votes, motion carries.
Is there anyone in the audience that's not on the agenda that would like to speak at this time? Yes.
Mr. Mostow.
I'd like to inform the commission that February meeting for the Lincoln DSD has been moved to the Mud River Fire Department at 6 o'clock. Directly after that, at 7 o'clock, we will be doing sign-ups for the Alcohol Woodville project to whenever. But we'd like to invite the commission to come on down and make sure the public is there as well to sign up for the water fund.
Date is that one?
It's the 24th.
Okay, appreciate it.
Anyone else?
We have a solid waste meeting at 12 o'clock over in City Hall, immediately following this meeting. If anybody wants to come over there, it's always open to the public.
Would you tell Maureen that I need her to get in touch with me? We have that REAP application questionnaire that we need to fill out before March 1st.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Is our solid waste board, is it full? We got all of our appointments on there, or are we missing anybody, do you know?
No, everybody's there.
Okay. Judy probably knows, I can't keep up with all that.
That's all right. Anyone else? Okay, next thing we have is commission concern committee report.
I'm going to continue, I guess, with reporting. As I started last week and followed up written, or last meeting, written notes. Before I get into the written part, I did have discussion last evening with Paula Smith from the Tri-River Transit. And there's a Senate bill, 493, that's basically being pushed by health and human service people, and it has to do with federal funding coming into the state and basically moving away from the way the money is appropriated and sent out to the agencies that need that money. And the bill is sponsored by our Senator Stallings, and Paula informed me last night she had met with Senator Stallings yesterday and DHHR and other providers. And there seems to be lots of confusing, but what this bill states is, in a sum, is that we would change the way that agencies like the Ambulance Authority, of course, all the bus systems in the state, and anybody that's providing transportation services for people with Medicaid-type funding, which would also get into, I believe, LCOCs also. And they're wanting to go into what they're saying, a broker. Now, all these millions of dollars would be turned over to a broker, and this broker basically would be paid a fee to have this client list and do all their scheduling as to where they would go when they go to the doctor, who would pick them up, time, and all that. And based on what they're telling me, of course, it have to be based upon the people that give you the information, is that this will not work for them. It's just too convoluted. It takes it away from their control. It's working fine now. And the question was asked yesterday, well, why change it if it's working? And the only thing that came out of the discussion was, well, we think we can save money. And I know that's a big issue with DHHR. But I think from where we sit, we need to look after what's best for our people. And DHHR has to look after what's best for their organization. And so I would ask the commission to join me in sending a letter to Senator Stallings and our other representatives at the state level to have a more serious look and request that they oppose Senate Bill 493.
I will offer a motion to send such a letter.
I'll second.
Motion second. All yes, motion carries. Moving on down the ideas that we've come up with here, and basically trying to talk about what all is happening from the time we met the last time to this time as it pertains to the work of this commission. Basically, we continue to meet on a regular basis as prescribed by law on February the 4th, 9th, 11th, 14th, and 15th for the Board of Equalization. Present for those meetings were myself, County Commissioner Mr. Ramey, Administrator Judy Johnson, Assessor Tracy Dempsey, and Sheriff Bowman. Other people was in and out, but we really didn't have scheduled meetings of people, but we did have the hearings, and up to that point, as far as all property taxes, there will be no real changes based on what people have requested. So we'll still have our meeting with the mineral on the 22nd. That'll be basically an all-day mineral. We do have people coming in on that.
Every 15 minutes will be a meeting, up through 5 o'clock.
On these other meetings you had, how many people showed up?
They wouldn't have anybody to
Oh,
come in.
okay.
Also met with Dwight Coburn, still talking about how the Southwestern Community Action Council can provide more services to Lincoln County, in particular getting more food program for the McCorkles site. He thought he was getting us some money, but found out it was going for another source, so he's working to try and divert some other money that we can use for food service. February 6th, 7th, and 8th, attended the West Virginia Association of County meetings in Charleston with Commissioner Ramey, Assessor Dempsey, Sheriff Bowman, Jerry Payton from Donald's office, and Janet Livell for Sheriff's office, along with Judy, the Commission Administrator. A number of meetings were held, and you sort of have general meetings and pick meetings, and basically had a meeting on team building, and you know, anytime you deal with politics and as the different elected officials change, the team members have a tendency to change, and ideas have a tendency to change, and it's tough sometimes to build team, but I still believe it's our job as elected officials to figure out some way to make the team work for the people. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. That's not what you're elected for. The job is to try to serve, and a guy named Richard Bacon basically did a good job on that. Jerry Knight from the, he's really a resource person now, used to work for the tax office, gave us some updates on chattel real issues, basically talking about how we tax coal now as it is mined out, comes to the surface, and trying to tie it into making them pay like they do on the oil and gas. We get severance now as it is severed from the coal, from the seams, but it's not treated the same with oil and gas. So there's a lot of discussion saying, let's try to get that done. Not sure it's a good idea. I haven't decided myself yet, but the discussion is out there, and there's people that want it, there's people that don't, I think.
Well, might that not decrease our?
No, it would be in addition to that. Of course, that's the part that makes it a little different, is that Delegate Stires and others have put legislation back in the hopper again this year to bring about the 5% over a 5-year period, 1% for 5 years, to increase the coal severance money in each of those producing counties that have active coal producing mines, and let that money be used for specific things, whether it be roads, water, infrastructure, those kind of things. So we think that that has a better chance. It did pass last year, and the governor didn't sign it based on technicalities, if I remember right, but they do have that back up again. Another speaker had a good topic. Politics is a contact sport, and I'd never thought of it that way, but I can relate to that. It sometimes gets heated and disagreements and those things. We had 2 speakers for our lunch. One was, of course, our Governor Tomlin, and the other one was, I have a hard time saying this, but just kidding, Athletic Director Oliver Love from WVU. He did a good job and seemed to be a very personal and bright person. So I just give him a hard time.
I got his autograph.
You got pictures with him too, didn't you?
That's right. I told him I used to quarterback for Guyan Valley.
We did talk to Delegate Stires, or I did anyway, and Rupi Phillips about, in particular, about trying to help Crime Watch continue to get the funding there and those kind of things, because sometimes they have a hard time getting all their money because they don't have that much spread around, but they've been good to help us, as you heard Evelyn talk about recreation and the work, monies they've given there, and they've given Crime Watch in the past, and they assured us that they would continue to do that. Also, while we're in Charleston, in between meetings, we had a meeting with Ron Boland, the architect that works with Randall Lewis at E.L. Robinson, basically to talk about the proposed building that we're looking at, the offices for County Commission. We looked at the latest rough drawings they had and talked about what would it cost to build, and once they told us that, we told them, let's make some real adjustments now. Let's talk serious about this, that you're building too much building or too much money. So we gave them some ideas, and they went back, and they're supposed to get back to us here soon, and we'll keep you posted on that. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things we did last week, February the 8th, attended the joint meeting with Boone Lincoln Extension Service to employ Dave Roberts. Took a trip down to Beckley along with Mike Mosteller and Thomas Ramey here and Ron Gregory from the PSD, and met with Deborah Jenkins to talk about let's get serious and see what we can do to find some real money to build this alcohol Woodville water project. We're talking about $6 to $7 million, and we have probably $1.5 million of it still out there. We've got real money right now, but we can't do anything until we get some serious money going, and we've done that, met with her, and she took good notes, had some good information to share with us what she would be doing, and we hope that we can get that going, because that's the biggest, most needed water project we got that we have not got funding or pieces in place for. We've got several others going on right now, but this one has been difficult to get all the money that we need to make it happen. But with the project that they're going up Route 3 now, we'll have the water supply available out to Snowden, I believe, somewhere in that neighborhood. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
So Mike's been good to work with us on that, and we've been basically working on one other project in that area, and that's at the Laurel Fork. And I think I read an email from Mike, he copied to me, that they have that moving forward. Still maybe some iffies there, but they were actually pushing that, trying to get that done, I believe. Attended the February 11th meeting of Tri-River Transit as a member of that board from 9 to 11, basically talk about issues that normally come up. Plus, it's that time of year to build a budget at Tri-River, and that budget does reflect 20 employees, or just maybe a few more than that, with about $1 million. And the next meeting to adopt that budget will be March the 9th at 9 down to New Tri-River Center. The last item I have here is the Board of Directors. Met with the Lincoln County Emergency Service Board of Directors on February the 15th, basically to talk about the training center out at Harts, what could be done, and those kind of things. They've got a new center out there. It seems to be working, but always issues, I guess. That's all I have.
Well, from the last meeting, when President McCann decided to do this written report, at that time indicated that I would take him up on the challenge, and I emailed my report late last night to Judy to be printed. Before I get into that, I wanted to make aware to the public that the month of April, and this is appropriate to say now based on what President McCann said at the beginning of the meeting, the National Association of Counties will be using the month of April to honor our veterans and those that have served in the armed forces and their families. So we'll be I'm sure, putting together something for those meetings during that month to make sure that the people in this county that have served this country honorably are honored in some way. Several of the things on my list were already Mr. McCann already went over, but I'm going to go ahead and go through each of these. The first one, I attended the Board of Equalization and Review meetings throughout the month of February. Those meetings were held on the 4th, the 9th, the 11th, the 14th, and 15th. Charles McCann and I sat as the Board of Equalization and Review. No appointments were made for any of the prior meetings. Having no appointments is a direct reflection, in my opinion, on the proper and objective implementation of taxes by Assessor Tracy Dempsey and his staff. It should also be noted that Assessor Dempsey and Sheriff Bowman were at the meetings, at least two, and were engaged in the process. On February the 4th, I attended the very first McCorkle Community Center Board meeting and was impressed with the attitude at the meeting of those in the audience and also the board and the Crime Watch, and their willingness to work together to make sure that the community center is a success. The following day, based on an invitation from the community center board, I returned to the community center and greeted those that were coming in the door to the first annual McCorkle Valentine's Day dance. I didn't stay long and I did not dance, but I was there. The next item, the West Virginia Association of Counties met in Charleston on February the 6th, 7th, and 8th. This event provided the county elected officials the best opportunity to network and meet colleagues from all over West Virginia struggling with similar problems. Also, the event helped elected officials grow and become better public servants by taking part in training sessions. The first training session I attended was, as President McCann indicated, team building. It was focused on the importance of collaboration and was led by Richard Bacon. Other sessions were tax and assessment, channel reels, effective grant writing, and it was led by the Morgan County Administrator. And one of the creative ideas that she had pursued and was able to get funded was in Morgan County now they're in the process of putting solar panels on top of their courthouse so that will help alleviate some of the burden of electric bills for the county. Another session was economics in counties, politics is a contact sport, and those in attendance were myself, Commissioner President McCann, Tracy Dempsey, Sheriff Bowman, Judy Johnson, Chief Deputy Jerry Payton, and Chief Tax Deputy Janet Linville. Throughout the event, we met with legislative leaders from our district. Members of the House in particular were Josh Stowers, Greg Butcher, Ruthie Phillips, and engaged in important negotiations on ways to generate funding for programs in Lincoln County. I appreciated personally the willingness of those delegates to take time to sit down with us and tell us of pending legislation that would impact the people of Lincoln County. Met with the architect that's put together some drafts of a proposed building to alleviate overcrowding here at the courthouse. On February the 8th, I attended the Corridor G Regional Development Authority's Legislative Southern Partners in Education and Economic Development speed reception. And during that event, I was able to speak to Director of Hatfield and McCoy Trail System, Jeff Lusk, regarding the importance of moving Lincoln County's trail system forward. I also was able to talk to Governor Tomlin in regards to in Harts, where the new school's being built, the curve at the school it's a problem. And we're afraid that as the school opens next year, that when traffic tries to go in and out of the school, that it's prone for lots of accidents. So Governor Tomlin indicated that he has been working to secure funds to help remove the curve. So that was a good thing. And also was able to talk to the governor, Senator Stallings, and acting Senate President Kessler in regards to the succession laws and what's going on with the special elections and all the acting titles and what needs to happen with that. Sheriff Jerry Bowman attended that event with me, and I appreciate Jerry going. He was able to talk to them and tell them about the need for economic growth in Lincoln County to help us be able to secure more deputies to keep the county safe, and that is a desire of the people. On February the 9th, I accompanied President McCann, Mike Mosteller, Ron Gregory to Congressman Rahall's office in Beckley, and made sure that they realized the importance of the Woodville Alcohol Water Project. I think we left, we were satisfied that we were heard, but we're still waiting for some money to back up this project so we can bring water to that area. On February the 14th, Sheriff Bowman and I traveled back to Beckley to attend the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, and we decided to go so that we could hand deliver letters from the commission office. I was able to do that. He delivered a letter on behalf of the sheriff's office, and I submitted a letter talking about the importance of building, maintaining, and improving the current infrastructure here in Lincoln County in regards to the roads. And Sheriff Bowman's letter was more of an emphasis on the health and safety of the citizens and the road conditions in Lincoln County and the desire to improve the conditions. I worked with Delegate Stowers throughout the last 2 weeks and Ranger Elementary teacher Pam Crum to resolve the situation with the Ranger Bridge naming. As you know, Ranger students were here a few meetings ago asking about renaming Ranger Bridge, but at that point we were not aware that a resolution had already been submitted to the legislature by Josh Towers to rename the bridge after the Ranger veterans. So the students at Ranger voted on February the 15th in regards to what action to take, and they decided to seek assistance from the commission and Delegate Stowers to rename the Lick Fort Bridge along Route 10 after Astor. And they were not disappointed. They realized that the other proposal had been submitted, and it was just a learning experience for them to be able to go through this process again. They're going to write more letters and send those letters to the commission. Delegate Stowers contacted me last night in regards to the next 2 commission meetings so he can put together the resolution and work with us to make sure he can get that passed this session. While lobbying at the legislature, one of the key issues that we continue to talk about was the insurance uncertainty facing the volunteer fire departments. And ironically, soon after visiting with the legislature, Hart's Volunteer Fire Chief Jason Moore had contacted me saying that their insurance was actually running out within the next 2 weeks, and the insurance provider had told them that they would not be renewing Hart's insurance policy. So Judy Johnson and Charles McCann and I immediately got on the telephone, and we were working with Tim Seiss, and we were able to get an insurance provider to take the fire department's policy, and from what I understand, it's actually saved them some money, and they're very, very pleased. And other fire stations in the county have moved to this same insurance provider, and so from what I hear right now, they're all happy. The last thing, Delegate Rupi Phillips had contacted me in regards to a road in the Mud River area that leads to one of the coal companies. He wasn't sure and detailed about the coal company, but he wanted the commission to look into the problem of the road deteriorating and the coal miners that have to travel, it's a state road, to get to the coal company. They are tearing their cars up, their tires are being busted. Okay. And he wanted us to be able to submit a letter to the state road to ask that they give the road some attention. So at this time I would offer a motion to at least send a letter to the state road.
I'll second that.
Motion second, and that's Hobart Minor Project, what that is. And all yes vote, motion carries. Hillbillies probably drove that road several times.
Yeah. I've got several calls on that also.
Since I was here last, I did talk to Jason also concerning the Harts Fire Department problem they were having, or the fire departments in general. Talked to Delegate Butcher concerning Hatfield-McCoy trails and how important it was to us to get that into this county. I also have talked with people, including Thomas, concerning the curve up at Harts and trying to get that cleared up. I'm working with some people from Chapmansville, which indirectly, I think, well, directly will affect us here, trying to get a hospice house in Chapmansville, which in the Harts area, I think would be a welcome thing as well down through the river there. And they are currently in the process of trying to gain funding for that and to try to get some direction as far as some numbers as far as how many people would be able to utilize the hospice house and things like that. I don't think there's anything like that up that way that people can do it. I'm scheduled Thursday to meet with Valley Health, and I'm going to talk with them concerning the wellness center I mentioned at the last meeting I was at the Harts Middle School. If it became the community center, I want to see what monies they would have as far as investing in something or like that, and what kind of because I've talked with a lot of the residents of the Harts area. I think we need something there like that where it's big enough that they can actually get in and out of the weather and exercise. So I know this winter we've had a real problem with people being able to do anything like that because of the weather, and they don't really have an area there that they could go to and be inside and have those things done. I would like to compliment my other commissioners on the job they've done here with making sure that people know what we need here in Lincoln County. We've always needed that. A lot of times people don't understand or don't know what we do need, and I think having someone there at all times helps. Again, I would, if the commissioners need me to attend any of those meetings that they attend, I'd be glad to do that. If there's a committee that they feel that I can help with, that I have some expertise in, I would be glad to do that. But since I've been off the Hatfield and McCoy meeting, I've still been trying to work on the project, and I think the other commissioners have too, and I think it looks much better than it did before. So that's all I have.
Anything else? I know this is not planned, but I've just been happy with the work that Janet's been doing and with the sheriff, and getting the books balanced every month and making sure that we know where we're at financially. And so just wanted to, while you're here, you and the sheriff both, we appreciate that from the commission side. That
for years, you know what kind of problem it was, and we don't even mention it now. And that means it's working, so that's good.
Thank you very much.
Anything else? You got the note on the road, right?
I know with being here and being a part, and Tracy's not here, but, you know, Doc was talking about the exercise equipment. I know that the Parks and Recreation we have two nice exercise rooms there at Farrellsburg Community Center, one for the males and one for the females. So those are really able to, that they could utilize up there until something like this would come.
Yeah, there's 2 classrooms set aside, one, like she says. So.
All
those, yeah, and some of the equipment's about to wear out.
They have televisions there that they can watch.
You have more coming for that area.
Yeah.
We had thought about, as far as Marty and at the Valley Health System, as far as incorporating nutrition and dietitians and things like that they could actually, when they come into exercise or whatever, they could also be counseling on those type of things. So.
Box of chocolate.
Okay, been a good meeting. It's about 11:22, and we got one other speaker, it looks like.
I was contacted by Chuck Armentrout from Commissioner from Webster County, and he asked if maybe me and you could come up to one of their meetings one night and talk about the amateur repeater that we put in here that the county paid for, and they want to do the same thing up there for their emergency services and stuff.
I'll go with you if Judy lets you go.
Said we could trout fish after the meeting.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We need everybody still looking for an impoundment or some place to put trout. The DNR would work with us on that if we have. I've talked to several people up in the Harts area, and they're trying to get together with themselves on what to do, but we can probably get 2 impoundments here in the county if we can find. They want
like a pond? Or
5 acres. They want minimum 5 acres. Or an area, if we could build one, then maybe we get a hold of the Corps of Engineers and have them put us a dam in there and things like that. But the DNR are primed for that, and they owe. I mean, we don't have any kind of facility like that here. And I know a lot of people like to go inside and exercise in the winter time, but sometimes if they trout fish, the older guys will be on the river or on the pond. So.
You know, I just have to say, after going to 2 different conferences and being able to mingle with elected officials across the state, delegates and senators, it should be noted that the socialite of Lincoln County is Hillbilly Johnston.
Well, they got a plaque up says that.
They all know him, but they think he's a commissioner from Lincoln County.
That's what he told them.
Good reason.
He enjoys himself talking to people. And I think you make inroads that way, like talking about the armor trout there. I mean, that'd be good.
He's definitely a good diplomat.
Ambassador, right?
Every time I call to register, they'll say, "Is your husband coming?"
All right.
And while Hillbilly's there, you do pay for his lunches and dinners separately.
The county does not pay for his.
I'm glad you said that.
I would like to say one more thing. We are looking for maybe an acre or just a little bit on the river trail, one in Harts Creek. And there's a place right by Columbia Gas there in Hoover that we can get in and out, you know, put small tent, you know, sites. But we've got one at Ranger, we need one at Harts, and we need one right in that area. And somewhere along West Hamlin, if anybody knows anybody that's willing to give it to us.
Well, if you got an acre in Harts, it'd be worth $100,000.
What were you wanting to do with that, Evelyn? I mean, what, were you gonna have like, Evelyn, were you gonna have like, what were you gonna put it, as like campsites you
I
talking
just
about?
like fire pit, grill, just where they can pitch a tent.
Okay.
But you also wanting like river access to the
Yes,
river?
where we can get in and out, you know.
Yeah.
Might talk to Alan Martin. Don't he have that property?
He has good property like that in this land.
On your track?
Okay, we got 3 meetings noted here on the agenda for coming up for March. March the 3rd and 17th are our regular meetings, and March the 8th will be our basically all-day budget meeting, working things out with our elected officials and anyone else that has budget issues. So, anything else? Hearing none, motion to adjourn, 11:25.
Second.
Stand adjourned.